Everyone likes fire. It's programmed into us at the most basic of levels that fire is warmth, it's light, it's sustenance, it's security, it's entertainment. Now, when I was a kid, for a long time, we didn't have a TV at home, and I remember sitting in front of the wood burner with the door open, just watching the fire. We had a spot at the bottom of the garden where we could have bonfires. I used to like starting with the smallest fire that I thought I could sustain, and I'd treat it like a little pet. Now, when it's tiny, you have to be really careful, and you just feed it with the smallest, driest twigs you can find, and if you neglect it for just a minute, it will go out. But if you overfeed it, or you feed it the wrong fuel, you'll smother it and it will also go out. But if you get it right, you grow it, and you watch the flames all climbing up over the new fuel, and it gets bigger and bigger until suddenly you've got this little roaring, crackling thing with a life of its own. And you can go about doing whatever it is you're doing with the companionship of a little fire. And when it's all burned down, you bank it up, and the next morning you come out and you dig into the ash pile and you find those few little last embers that are still glowing and coax it all back into life again. It's very satisfying. It's a very pleasing cycle to be in. But when I got into biking, the fire thing didn't really translate across. I don't know why. I guess I always had gas or my little alcohol stove to cook on, and I just never got into the campfire thing. But then recently I was watching a video on Ash Outdoors UK, which is a good channel. You should check it out. I think if you like the way I come at biking and camping, you'll like the way that Ash comes at hiking and camping. I'll put a link down below, see what you think. Anyway, in one of his wild camping videos, he had one of those little kind of portable, collapsible firebox wood burner things. And it was a bit bigger than anything I'd want to take on the bike, but it got me thinking and it got me searching. And in the end, I bought myself this. This is the Firebox Nano Gen2 titanium. This was not the cheapest bit of kit that I've ever bought. This was 75 quid plus postage, but it ticks a few boxes for me, and I had just passed 2,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are one of those 2,000, then thank you very, very much. I'm humbled. You are awesome. You can all claim 1/2000th of a share in this firebox, which seems to be really, really good. I went for the titanium version. It weighs 210 grams. There is a stainless steel version, which is heavier but cheaper. The most basic kind of package is just the box in a little drawstring bag. On top of that, there are a whole plethora of little add-ons you can get. There's solid fuel plates, grill plates, flame guards, all kind of stuff. I went for the X case, which is this nice tin. This is good for storage, but it also doubles as a nice solid flat base plate to set up on, and as a catch plate for any hot embers that fall out the bottom when you're burning. So if we open it up, inside you'll see we've got this sheet of carbon felt. This wraps around everything. It's nice, it stops everything rattling, which is good, but it also serves a double purpose, which we'll come to in a minute, alongside these two angle pins that live in the bottom. We'll just put those to one side for a second and look at the box itself. So you can see how small it is when it's folded up, and you can see how snugly it folds in on itself. When this is assembled, you'll see that it's not a perfect cube type box. It's slightly asymmetrical, slightly askew, and that's completely by design, because it means that when it is folded up like this, it angles around itself really nicely, and there's no pressure points where it folds around the hinges. There's no way you could squash this and distort anything. It's really, really nicely designed. It also leaves a slight gap between these two plates here, which lets you store your two nano rods. We'll come to those in a moment. Setting up really, really easy, totally idiot proof. You lay out the X case as the base if you've got it, otherwise it goes straight on the ground, and then the box just folds open and the base plate flaps down into the bottom like that. If you have got the X case, then you swivel the feet out and they match up with the arms of the X in the bottom of the case and hold everything very nice and steady. You can see how at the top they flare out, so you've got this nice big area as a pot stand. You know, you'd fit any single person pot on there that you wanted to. If you want to put something smaller on there, like just put a tin mug or something on, then you can rotate the feet. They still fit into the X case grooves, but they close up that gap. I mean, you could get even the smallest of little pots on there to heat up. So with it all set up and on its base, you can see that asymmetric design which I was mentioned earlier. You can also see all of the holes and the openings that are cut into the sides. These are mostly for airflow, and so you can blow on your fire if you need to. And the larger ones are also designed to let you feed in fuel in a kind of upward motion towards the middle, and this encourages that sort of pyramid fire effect in the middle of the box, which is better again for airflow and burn efficiency and all that kind of stuff. Now it's about -2 or -3 today, so I am actually going to get a little burn going and warm my fingers up. Before that, I just very quickly want to show you the options for fuels other than wood that you can use with this. These two little rods, these nano rods that we set aside earlier, these thread through these little openings in the corners of the box, and when they're in place they form a shelf which is perfectly measured to take a little Trangia alcohol burner. That sits in there really nicely, and it's just high enough so that you can use your simmering the full range of its adjustment, which is very, very useful. If you want to adjust your full intensity flame, you can take the nano rods out and either set the Trangia just straight into the bottom so it sits on the base plate, or you can set it in the bottom using its lid to raise it up slightly. So you've got kind of 3 ways that you can use the alcohol burner in there. You can also use the Trangia gas burner, I believe, though I don't have one, and there is a plate which sits in the top if you want to use those solid fuel tablet type things, which again, don't have any. I've never used them. And there you have it. We boiled about 300 millilitres of water, and you can see the little carbon sheet standing up on its pins to act as a windbreak. That I think is pretty pointless, to be honest. The wind always seems to be moving anyway, and it just kind of gets in the way, but it's there if you want it. It's not as quick as cooking or boiling on gas or alcohol, but really it's not just about the cooking. It's the fact that as well as getting that heat for practical purposes, you get the crackle of a fire, you get the smell of wood smoke, you get all of that stuff, the warmth that comes out of it. It's lovely. I like the fact that you have the option of putting the Trangia in it for purely practical purposes. But for me, the real joy is I like to stop early when I'm camping. I like to sit and enjoy my evenings and look around, whittle a spoon, and to do that with a little fire going, oh, it's just joyous. I love it. I remember watching an episode of a Ray Mears show where he was in Australia travelling around with the native Aboriginal dudes, and he was saying whenever they stop they make a fire. Doesn't matter whether it's the middle of the day, 40 degrees, they make a fire, because if you've got a fire you're at home. You know, fire is central to that. And even a little one like this, it's like having a little friend. It's great. And because it's on its little base plate, and because it's up off the ground, and because it's a small container, you've got this hard limit on the size of the fire you can make. So you have to keep working at it, but it means you can't inadvertently make a massive blaze or anything. It's about the safest fire you can have. I mean, make no mistakes, it's still a fire. You don't use this in no burn zones or in the middle of dry season or anything. But if you're gonna have a fire, this is just a very nice, safe, easy way to do it. Leave no trace, except a few flecks of ash in the wind. I'm very pleased with it. I'll be using it a lot from now on. I'm gonna be like the Aboriginal Australians and make a fire every time I stop. Yeah, that's that really. As I mentioned earlier, I hit 2,000 subscribers on this channel, so if you are one of those 2,000, thank you so much. It really does, it means a lot to me. It's awesome. I love the fact that people seem to watch these videos and enjoy them, even though I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, God, you saw my fire starting technique earlier. Eesh, disgusting. But that's not what this video is about. It's about sitting in the forest with a little friendly fire. I'm just talking again. I never know how to end these videos, so I'm, yeah, just going to end it. There'll be more coming soon. See you later all.